Hello, and welcome to Introduction to Multicultural Lit, or English 2300. I am Dr. Garrett, and in this video, I'm going to introduce you to the course, to our syllabus, and show you a few things on Blackboard that I want you to be aware of. First, let me introduce you to myself. As I said, I'm Dr. Jenna Garrett. I have been at North Greenville for about 11 years. And I've taught this course many times, but it is my first time teaching it online in the summer. So I'm looking forward to doing this in a new format. Multicultural Lit is a class that fills most students' 2000 level literature course requirement. So your choices would have been American Lit, British Lit, or this course. So I hope you're in the right place. I'm going to pull up Blackboard and share my screen with you. I think. Here we go. Okay, and I just want to run through a few things in Blackboard and again, our syllabus. So here's what our course looks like now. You'll start to see more and more things as the course continues. But first, I want to show you that I have this welcome note that lets you know how to get in touch with me if you would like to do a face-to-face meeting. So requesting a Teams meeting and requesting a Teams meeting through Outlook, both of these are documents that walk you through the process of requesting a meeting with me. So Teams is going to be the primary way for you to contact me for a face-to-face. If you just have general questions that you feel that can be taken care of, excuse me, that can be taken care of in an email, then certainly you can do that. And if you go over to the My Instructor tab, you'll see my email address there, my office number and location. Again, I don't know how often I'll be on campus this semester, so Teams and this email address are the best ways to get in touch with me this summer. Notice my email address is my entire name, jenna.garrett. There are other Garretts on campus and another Garrett that starts with a J. So if you don't get my entire name in there, it might go to someone else who may or may not be on campus this summer. So either use that link that's here, or just remember to type in my entire name. All right, so let's look at our syllabus. Let me open that for you. And I did, when I opened this earlier, obviously after I uploaded it, of course, I did notice a couple of errors that I'll go back and fix before, well, shortly. All right, again, all my information and what we have here is our course text listed. So this is a 3-part volume. All the books look something like this, and it's separated into the short stories, which is what we'll use first, and the poems is what we'll use second, and then plays, which is what we will use third. And I want to point out that you really do need this set. It's not a new set. If you order through Tree of Life, then you should have already gotten it. But beyond just the stories, poems, and plays that we're doing, there is some good introductory material in these and some information about how to write about literature, which is new-ish to most students who are in this class. You may have done that a little bit in 1310 if you were at North Greenville for that, but you may not have any experience with that if you weren't on this campus. So you do need that set. All right, the second book you need is To Kill a Mockingbird, the novel by Harper Lee. You don't need a specific copy of this one. Pretty much anyone will do. And there is an audio version online that I'll link to at some point to help you out. All right, so other materials you need, just access to a dictionary and an English handbook if you still have this one from your freshman lit classes, the Simon & Schuster, then that's great. If you do not have one, you don't need to rush out and buy one, most of what you will need will be online. Actually, all of what you need will be online. All right, so I'm not going to run through the student outcomes for you. I'll let you read those on your own, but I will stop and point out the evaluation methods. Remember that we do a point system rather than percentages. So just think about collecting as many points as you can. Every assignment is the opportunity to get more points, and you have to collect at least 600 points to get a D, 700 for a C, 800 for a B, and 900 for an A. And then this is how you will collect those points. So here are your categories. Quizzes, there will be 12 quizzes over literature. Most of those will be short stories, and then one over the play Trifles. And then you will have a larger peer review, kind of your 13th quiz, will be about your group members on your final project, which covers the novel, and we'll talk more about that later. You have 2 essays in this class, 100 points each. You do have an oral presentation for 100 points. Your group project, again, it's one of your final assignments, is 150 points. You have 2 tests worth 150 points apiece, and then your final exam, which is worth 150 points. All right, so this is one of the areas that I need to fix, but attendance, basically, I'll be looking at 2 things to monitor your attendance, or 3 things. One of those, there's a column in the grade book that I can see the last date you access Blackboard. So I'll check that 2 or 3 times a week to see that you are getting online. Many of the assignments I post, I can track, there are tracking statistics. So again, I can see if you opened and looked at the document. And then there's just whether or not you are completing the assignments. So mostly I'm going to be looking to see if you did finish the assignments, since most, if not all, of the reading can be done offline, and this is a literature class. You're really getting online to do 2 things, looking at the lectures that I post and completing the assignments. So those are the things that I'll be tracking. All right, let's see. So the makeup work is also something, or late work is also something that I'll adjust a little bit. Typically, we have you turn things in at the beginning of class, and if you don't have it, it's late. Here, and it says this later in the syllabus further down, that all assignments are due on Sunday at 11:30 p.m. So a week will open on Monday, and you have until the next Sunday to get things complete. This still holds. No work may be turned in late unless you have a documented excuse. So if you have a documented excuse, if you have a serious situation come up, since the course is so short, there's not really a lot of time for you to make it up later, if that makes sense. So I need to know as soon as a problem arises and it looks like you might miss a little time or have a difficult time completing things in the time frame, just let me know as soon as possible so that we can work something out. All right, this academic irregularity and sanctions basically says that everything you turn in should be your work and your work only. If you're using somebody else's words, quoting, paraphrasing, summarizing, then you need to cite that properly using MLA. Additionally, if you have taken this class before, or if you have had a similar assignment in another class at another school, you should not be using that work for this class. So it should be a fresh attempt on everything here. Also, I just hit my mic. I'm sorry if that made a weird noise. Okay, if you have accommodations, meaning you need extra test time, I think that is the only thing that would apply here. I may be wrong. I should have that information already for me in the faculty portal, but if you would please get in touch with me and let me know if you have accommodations so that I can figure out the best way to work with you. All right, the next portion of the syllabus is going to go by quickly. It's for COVID. I did have COVID this past semester. I do have an appointment on our first official day of class, 17th, to get a vaccine shot, which might knock me out for a good 24 hours. But I do not anticipate problems here, especially since we are taking things online. I should be able to meet with you normally anyway. If, again, you have a problem, whether it's COVID related or not, if you would just get in touch with me as soon as you possibly can, then that would be helpful for us to figure out how we're gonna work. Okay, so here, assignments, miscellaneous notes. Here's the portion that I noticed that I needed to change. Each week begins on Monday and it ends on Sunday at 11:30 p.m. All final drafts have to be typed, have to be submitted through Blackboard. And this just reminds you that it needs to be a Word document, so a doc or a docx file for you to receive credit. I can accept PDF, but really, truly, it does work better for me if it's a doc or docx file. It's just easier to grade in Blackboard. All of the information I send you is going to be posted on Blackboard, but that announcement that I post will also be sent to your NGU email account. So I need for you guys to be checking that regularly. If you're an education major, then this portion is just for you. I encourage you to look at it. And our SEOIs, this refers to your evaluation of me, of our course, of the syllabus, things like that. Honestly, I am not sure if you will be required to do that for a summer course. If you are, you will get an email through your NGU account or a message through the student portal telling you how to handle that. All right, so let's go down to the schedule. You'll see three categories, date, or three, sorry, I should say columns, one for your date, one for the lectures that you'll need to look at, and one for your reading and assignments. So this first one looks a little busier than most because I'm giving you some extra information. One, you will find all the information for this week under course, material, short stories, in the tab in Blackboard, and download and listen to the introduction, which is this, before you do anything else. All right, so lectures, you're listening to one now, the introduction to the course. I'll also have a short one on the introduction that's in the book, and that reading is listed right here. Allegory will actually be mixed in here. And then you'll have one for that short story with Charlotte Perkins Gilman. All right, so let's look at reading and assignments. All work this summer will be completed on a weekly basis. Everything assigned must be submitted by 11:30 p.m. on the Sunday night of that week, or it will be considered late and will not be accepted. This work includes essays, tests, discussion boards, presentations, etc. So if you look over here, May 17th through 23rd. Now, May 17th is Monday, and 23rd is the following Sunday. So you have from midnight on the 17th to 11:30 p.m. on Sunday to get this done. And again, this just tells you that we're using the first of our three-volume set, these short stories. So when it gives you page numbers here and here and here, then this is what that's referring to. This one's the poems. I literally just had the short stories. Here we go. This one. They all look pretty much the same. All right, so I will warn you that weeks 2, or I should say 1 through 4 are pretty busy. That's when you have most of your quizzes. You are also doing a presentation and your first test and your first paper within the first 4 weeks. So that is the first half of the class. If you can get through those 4 weeks, then it gets a little bit lighter for weeks 5 and 6. And then in weeks 7 and 8 and 9, it starts to pick up again. But do not get discouraged. I've done everything I can to help support you with the materials that I'm putting on Blackboard. So let's go back over there and look at what I have for you. All right, so everything you need beyond what I've just shown you is under course materials. Okay, and what you see here will be a little bit different from what you see when you sign into your account, because obviously this is my account and I have things preloaded. All right, so you will see a short stories tab, and pretty much everything you need for this module for our short stories unit is already here. You have a link to take your pretest. That's the first thing I want you to do after you listen to this. It is rather lengthy. It's 100 questions on literary terms. And again, this is an assessment. It's a pretest. We don't expect you to know this information. So you're going to go to this link and you're going to use this code. You will also get an email from me with your zip code name and your zip code ID, which you will need for these. You'll need that for all of your quizzes and all of your tests. So make sure that you keep up with that information. Again, I'll be sending that through email since it's individual to each of you. It shows you in this unit what our reading list is, nothing to click on here. Our audio links, if you click on that, this is basically just a list of the short stories and an audio version of those short stories if one exists easily on the internet. You do not by any means have to use this, but if you're somebody who likes to listen to a story instead of just reading it, if you're very auditory like I am, then there you go. Or if you need to listen as you're driving back and forth to work, etc., then this is for you. All right, a little bit of this for the next one, the notes, handouts, and lectures will change. I do have the PowerPoints here. I do have a couple of lectures here, but I will also be adding to this. So this one will grow a little bit. For the notes that I have, there will be two things. One, just, again, the notes in PowerPoint form, translated over to a PDF, but then I will also have a lecture. So you can go through those as is useful for you. All right, quizzes. I don't have all of them posted yet, but I do have the first ones that you'll need. And again, there will be about 10 here in the short story area, one in the poetry area, one for trifles, and then one at the very end with your novels. All right, all your test one information, this is already going to be available for you. Here are all the terms covered for test one. Here's a review, and then when it is time, a link to the multiple choice and a link to the short essay portion. All right, and then the last thing for this unit, and remember, not all of this is week 1. Our short story unit goes through week 4. So essay 1, presentation and information. You have the assignment here, which again, I'll go over later. Some example essays, which I'll go over again later. Here is a sign-up sheet. I need to adjust this slightly, but if you click on this link, it will take you to a place where you can sign up for your short story. Since there are very few of us, I'm going to ask only one student sign up per short story. Otherwise, I'd probably have more than half of you doing the same story, everyday use, for example. And I want there to be a variety. All right, and here are the rubrics that I'll be using to grade your essay, and this one is the rubric for the oral presentation. You don't need to do anything with them. I just posted those so you would know what rubrics I'm using in order to grade you. All right, so when we get past short stories to poetry and the play Trifles, and then the novel, you'll see something similar to this. Short stories is our most information, note, handout, quiz heavy section. So again, push through these first 4 weeks and things will lighten up just a little bit. All right, so that is the information I think that you need for your syllabus, how to use Blackboard, etc. Any questions about upcoming assignments? You might just want to wait a little bit. because I will be adding more information in the form of lectures and handouts, etc., as that becomes necessary. But if there are any general questions you have, please do not hesitate to email me, and I hope to hear from all of you at some point. Have a great day.